Good day, my good people. I hope I find you well wherever you are. Believing you have had a fantastic day. Right, I greet you respectively, and I hope everything is well with you. Right, I had a call with one or two of my friends. Then before you know it, we ended up making a group call. What I got there from the call was very, very interesting. I said to them, you know what? I'm not the one to make a public comment regarding this, but it's always something very interesting if we put it on public domain. Because at times, you know, they say two heads are better than one. And I always want to believe in that. Here is the situation. We're not talking about ZANU PF today. We want to talk about the CCC, original CCC, not the one that was hijacked by Shabangu. I said to people, just imagine a GNU is put together, and it's approved. Let's assume that a GNU is put together and they pull the strings and they get it right, and there's a GNU, and Shabangu bargains for VP position, and he gets it. Then one day, the president, sitting president, Comrade Emerson Dambuza Mnangagwa says, right, I'm going out of the country. And Shabangu remains as the acting president. I said to them, do you know that on that day you will be the official president? I know it's hard to take, but it can be reality, you know. You can't rule that away. You can't rule that away. Nevertheless, let me go right straight into what we're discussing. I said to them, right, listen. Advocate Nelson Chamisa did put a tweet which some people were very excited about when he said, I knew Zimbabwe is on the way, meaning to say he has given a hint that is coming back to the active in politics, from what I picked from there. At the very same time, you can start to see his movements. He was like at the American embassy as well, you know, meaning to say he hasn't lost interest in politics. It's only that he had taken a sabbatical. But in the event that he comes and he says, as was been hinted by Gambakwe, he said that he's got his sources. He says Nelson Chamisa starting a new party. And he's going to be doing away with his old friends, if I can put it that way. I said, what's your take on that? Or the views that I got? I wish that could have been recorded. That's what I said to them. I said, you guys, if this is to be repeated, I don't think I'm going to be able to repeat what you were saying here. I was just laughing lungs out. Right, I said, right, he declares that he's starting a new party. Let's assume, and a new party is now being launched. Are you going to be going back with him, or are you going to have some resentments? Don't fool yourselves. Let's face reality. Let's be honest with ourselves. Chamisa has got his followers. It's known by people. He's untouchable when it comes to his followers. The other guy says, Vanhu avadi, ninganga dzavo, maprofita avo, mapasta avo, varohi vavo, mapresident avo, nemapati avo, which I understand. Nematime bora avo. Regardless of whatever, regardless of how bad they might have done, regardless of whatever they would have, still they've got some more staunch supporters who don't need anything negative said about them. And I said, they are dead right there. But let's look into reality. If he does say that he's coming back to form another party, remember he had MDC left over for him to take over, which he did, and he ended up losing it to Advocate Monzo. Then before you know it, he formed another one. He said the old is gone, the new has come, and the new came in the form of CCC. Right? Before you know it again, CCC has been taken away from him, if not stolen by Sengezo Shabangu. Right now, he's on sabbatical leave, but he's showing glimpses or signs that he wants to come back. In the event that he comes back, and we're quoting what we have seen from or heard from Pardon Gambakwe, that is forming a new political party, but he wants to do away with his old friends. What's your take on that? First and foremost, let's ask this one. If he says he's forming a new party, are you going to stand with him? Obviously, he's got his strong supporters. I, for one, if I was to be asked, I would say on my analysis with the actions of the last elections, I felt like he lost quite a number of his supporters. I cannot put a percentage, but offhand, let me just put a rough estimate. I would say 50% of his strong supporters were disappointed with the actions that he did. He just went quiet and never took time to explain to people. At least, you know, people that had cast their votes in the ballot, they would expect you to honor them and come and explain. Even if things did not go well, even if things did not go the way you would have expected, I believe they are somewhat odd in explanation, or just they will sympathize with you because you are trying and they are following behind you. You are trying. These are the people that have cast the votes. These are the people that's giving you the ground for you to stand, to know that regardless of what has happened or what I suspect has happened, I still have got people standing by me, people loving me. So at the end of the day, I would expect that he comes and gives just a brief explanation. You don't need to go into detail, just a brief explanation. That alone, I feel that's what was going to be best. Then secondly, if he was to form his party, as said by Pardon Gambakwe, right, and he drops some of his best friend or the old members or the old people, what's your take on that? I look at people like Ostalos. I look at people like Wiwa. I look at people like Tendai Biti, and I look at people like Monzori. I look at people like Madam Kupe. All those people, they have been soldiers for what you guys claim, or for what most of you guys claim to be the struggle. Remember, these were the leaders that led you from the front. These are the leaders that have suffered for the very same struggle that you're talking about. Take Wiwa. He was in prison there. He was almost rotting in prison. By the time he came, I don't think people gave him an opportunity to explain his anger as to why he wanted to form a political party or wanted to do away with the sitting party that had come from, which was Triple C. You know what? People need counseling. He was a leader. He went through a lot. Traumatized. At one point, I listened to his speech at the United Nations. You could tell that the man is now just speaking, but it's pain that's speaking. What he went through is unbearable. So we were put aside. You go to Douglas Monzori, regardless of the jigs or whatever that he played to try and arrest power from and steal the political party. I want to believe he had gone also through a lot. So isn't it possible to get such people, to give them an opportunity to explain rather than just calling them traitors? Because if you look at it, the people that were there when the Triple C was founded, all of them are gone. They are no longer part of what you are still calling the struggle. Who then remains? I was listening to Ostalos' interview with Trevor Noe. That was in conversation with Trevor. That was so disturbing. The young guy saying that I was beaten. And I'm thinking, gosh, you don't know how much he went through. You know, he can be a strong person, but somehow I want to believe it traumatized him. Then just imagine if, according to the report that has been put by Pardon Gambakwe to say that Chamisa is going to form a new party and do away with the old people. Where do you think this will leave people like Ostalos? People that have stood up with the struggle. There's questions to be asked. Don't just turn a blind eye when things are happening. If I had an opportunity to speak to Ostalos, there's one thing that I would have wanted to ask him. After the demolition of Triple C Original, which was founded by Nelson Chamisa as the president, they went on to try and form the Blue Party. Did they try and do that under the auspices of Nelson Chamisa? Were they guided by the ethos of the party that Nelson Chamisa wanted to start? Or is it something that they were starting, also trying to use the name of Nelson Chamisa because he's a popular person and a brand? All those questions need to be asked. Because at times I feel like, okay, let's assume on one side, they had to forcibly form the Blue Party because they saw that Chamisa had just gone quiet on the people and they felt like the movement is dead. And they could not afford or allow it to just go quiet. So that's what might have pushed them to say, no, let's just establish the Blue Party. This is just my assumption because none of them have been interviewed. Then at the very same time, was it like they were put on the forefront by Nelson Chamisa to see if another new party can be formed and watch the reaction of the people? You know, there's so many questions lingering, which I believe needs to be addressed. Let's assume a new opposition party is going to be formed by Advocate Nelson Chamisa. I for one, personally think there is a lot of questions that need to be asked, and there's a lot of answers that are expected. If things are not cleared, I don't see it holding the grip. I was looking at some posts that some other people were putting somewhere, which I cannot put on mine because the language that was used is not the kind of language that would come out of my mouth. No, I wouldn't do that. But reading through the comments, I was like, yes, is this a sign of pain? Or is it some opposition people taking advantage of the platform to demoralize people so that they don't follow Nelson Chamisa again? Because the comments there, it was a whole heap of negative comments. And I'm thinking, but he's coming. But still after those comments, when it was actually brought live to people on is it 0.5 studio? Yeah, 0.5 DJ Holly. Yeah, on 0.5 studio. You saw people standing with Nelson Chamisa. So which is which? Who commented on the comments that are being commented on now on that channel? That's what disturbed me at the end of the day. Are people accepting reality or are people refusing to accept reality? Are people genuine in their cause or there are some people who just want to follow the person and not the party? Or are there some people who are ready to learn what's needed for people to know that we are united? I sat down, I've looked at ZANU PF many a times. You know, when I say these things, people say, Chigananda, yeah, this and that. Listen, but we need to be very realistic with ourselves. If ever anything is to move forward, look at this. ZANU PF has got structures. There was a song that was saying, kumasero, tangira msangano. If a party has structures, it is protected. Triple C, according to my understanding, or my little bit of understanding to politics, Triple C would not have been torn apart the way it was torn apart had they had structures in place. A party without structures is a backboneless party. A party needs structures. From Marcel, province, district place, a party needs Marcel so that it be protected. Because you can argue knowing that there is something, there's something in it for me, rather than just falling in a party. Because one person cannot fight a system. Triple C, from what I saw, was just a one-person party, right? With other hopefuls around the one person, right? So at the end of the day, when the person was attacked, there was no one to defend because there was no structures. There was not a system in place. There were no structures. So assuming that he said what has been said by Gambako is what's being plotted or what's being planned or what's behind his mind, what questions do you think he needs to be asked? What questions do you think he needs to attend to for you to know that he's giving you assurance that what we are doing is going forward? I remember posting some time before the elections and I said, I see the party set, happy, and I see wonderful colors, but I still have one question. I'm going to look for that on my Facebook page. What has Chamisa done to unlock the systems? I asked that question, but I never got an answer. Then before you know it, the sitting president, Comrade Emerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa, comes and then he goes on to say, that was almost 3, 4, 5, 6 months after. He comes on and says, I'm the godfather of the systems. I'm the one who created the systems. He's referring to systems. And the opposition doesn't have systems. So even if it was to fight ZANU PF, or to challenge ZANU PF, you cannot challenge a system using an individual. It will not work. It will not work. Have you ever gone to kumasero as ZANU PF? There's somebody, regardless of what you say, that this person is not even getting nothing, it is nothing to show for that party, he's actually struggling, but that person is actually indoctrinated with the Chitepo school of ideology kind of mentality. You can't move them. So when they come saying whatever they are saying, you're like, but this person doesn't have nothing. This person is suffering. This person is not even enjoying life. This is the, I don't know. You know, if you're from the opposition, you just feel like you want to tear that person apart. You know what I mean? But still that person will be standing very, very strong, focused, wanting to make sure that he's defending or she is defending or they are defending their president. That's what we call a structured system. So if Advocate Nelson Chamisa is to come, what question do you think you need to ask him, and so that you would expect answers? Because you cannot just go, listen, they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, wishing, hoping, and praying for a different outcome. In order for you to receive change, you have to change first. That's what I know. 2018, you claimed you won. Nothing came. Rigged. Stolen the elections. Okay. Let's give you a proof that 2018, the elections were stolen. But remember, you had 5 years to prepare for the next elections. So we are now looking at 2023. 2023 is coming. We're asking the question, what has he done to unlock the systems? We are not getting an answer, but all we are getting is rebuke. Okay, rebuke comes our way. Still 2023 elections come. Everything is tried. The system cannot be logged. It needs to say you did not provide an answer to the questions that we posed. Right. Let's assume the 2030 agenda doesn't progress and the 2028 elections are on. What is it that is promising this time to do or to correct that you didn't do? So that you know that you're going to the elections now fully aware that we are going on a fair play basis, or we are staying away from the elections. Because this will continue to be a roller coaster. And then before you know it, you end up pouring your anger on people like us when you tell you the truth. The honest truth is, to avoid pain, we have said, better you don't get involved. It's not like we are discouraging you, but learn to ask questions and learn to seek for answers. If you don't, it continues to be a roller coaster. In that process, I want to honestly say, especially from the discussion that we had with some other people, I felt like Advocate Nelson Chamisa lost quite a number of people there. You might remain, you might support him, you might remain, that's not a problem. I'm not saying ditch him, no, stand with him, but what I'm saying is, you should have some questions that are supposed to be provided answers for. Other than that, we'll just continue to watch. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Do you think you are owed answers? Do you think you are owed an explanation? Or do you feel like, no, let's just continue to go again? This time, you never know. God with us, it might happen. Let me know in the comment section. Then we take it from there. Otherwise, have a brilliant day. You know, from the bottom of my heart, I always like you and love you. Remain blessed. Bye for now.